As we await Glenn Stevens' reading in the economy, though, the retail sector still looking a little shaky. That is, with the exception maybe of online retailing, which seems to be thriving as consumers turn from the high street stores to online shopping, all in a bid to save cash with these harder economic times. Joining us in the studio is Chris Hitchen from Getprice with some insights into the latest readings of the Getprice Index and some fascinating insights, Chris, into the sorts of behaviour changes that Australians are exhibiting, in these different times.
That's right, Brooke. We saw this week Coles come out and talk about people switching from expensive steaks to cheaper sausages. Yep. And I think, we're seeing this online as well. The other thing they talked about was people going back to staples, so trading perhaps meat for eggs and so on, and going towards the home brands that those supermarkets have, and even towards discount supermarket chains like Aldi. And in online shopping, we're seeing, we do a similar thing. We track the online trends just as they track the offline trends, and we're seeing the drift to thrift, as people are calling it. But there are some items that people are still buying at the expensive end.
Exactly, the drift to thrift, but not when you include LCD televisions.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
It's a bit of an outlier, and we've had. I saw yesterday in the press we had Jerry Harvey's wife, Katie Page, who runs Harvey Norman, come out and talk about how their LCD TV category is still a boomer, and we're seeing that online too. And there's some people are still buying the items. They're just going online to try and find the best price, and it's no wonder because we've seen last month in January. There was a Sony 50-inch plasma TV where people could save over $1,100 on that same TV just by comparing between the different retailers. So it's huge savings and it really matters to people. Any
different conditions involved in that and warranties and that stuff? Because, $1,000 is a huge difference.
Yeah. Look, in that case...
Apples for apples sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely, apples for apples. And you often do get, as we've talked about before, on sites like Getprice, you compare the price, but it does also pay to compare warranties, in-store service features, returns policies, all of those things. But apples for apples, that's a huge saving. And
this is sort of a part of maybe a global trend, do you think, this switch to online, looking for the bargains before you get to the stores? Absolutely. Or even doing it online?
Yeah, we've seen some data come out of the UK this week that talks about the same thing going on over there. Yep. Huge push towards online. And there was a UK survey that came out last week saying that 36% of people are planning to do more shopping online and less on the high street this year. And that's a significant trend.
Insights maybe into the retailers themselves and how they're going to be trying to cope, I suppose, because a lot of them getting online at the moment, and increasing the products online as well.
Yep.
You're seeing more companies doing that?
We are, and including the big companies. So in Australia, we've typically, we've lagged behind other countries where some of the big household retailer names have not sold online in a meaningful way, and that's changing.
Myers and your David Jones, and you still really can't get stuff.
Yeah, look,
there.
I know that certainly Myer and a couple of other big stores are investing heavily in their online infrastructure. We also heard, although Harvey Norman's experiencing some difficulties around the office chain, they have plans to launch that online. So there's definitely some big investment going on online. And these guys are, they're monitoring the same trends. They're seeing people going online to look for value, and they know that whilst they may not always have the cheapest price, they're going to be able to offer a really good service to these customers because they have the multi-channel environment.
And, switching from sort of household goods, travelling's also, we talk a lot about it with the changes in the Australian dollar and, the online price fare wars that we've got between the airlines. We're seeing a lot of people holidaying domestically, though, at the moment. You're seeing that in all your search engines.
That's right, yeah. So we see people looking for package holidays. They know what the cost is going to be. There's no nasty surprises. So package holidays, particularly domestically, are popular. And, taking the domestic trend to the extreme, perhaps, is people looking for tents, buying tents and... going camping or sticking them up in the backyard, whatever they do with them.
Yeah.
But that's a trend we've seen coming out for a few months now, and it's also goes out to working out. People possibly sacrificing gym memberships for treadmills. We've seen treadmills rise up into the top ranks of the categories people are looking for.
I think I should look into that. I know I waste too much money on unused gym memberships. Yeah, exactly. And a couple of other things. You always track all the different prices and what moves each month. Where the best bargains are. What about some actual products that you're finding sort of actually good deals on?
Yeah,
do the work for us. Let us know.
Well, that's right. Yeah, and it's pretty easy. On Getprice, we just check the biggest price drops or differences each month. I mentioned the Sony 50-inch plasma TV. I think that's a huge one. We've also had there's a difference. If you're going to buy some perfume, J-Lo, Glow, no idea how that smells, but there's a $71 saving on that particular bottle of perfume. We've also seen mobile phones rise up and they've now overtaken digital cameras on Getprice and are the #1 category for Australians. So people are looking for mobile phones. The BlackBerry Storm has come down.
There's been, I guess, a couple of new releases with the iPhone and the BlackBerry Storm.
And they're coming much faster now. You've got Google's Android first phone coming out soon to Australia. The Windows mobile phones becoming popular. So the BlackBerry Storm, huge saving on that recently, $470 to be saved on that. There's a Prada mobile phone for the fashionistas, down $158. Prices are moving up and down all the time, so it pays to monitor.
And price differences as well, you're monitoring there too?
Absolutely. So there's an LCD monitor for your computer, 24-inch from Acer. There's a $101 difference on that. There's almost a $500 difference on a Sony LCD projector as well.
Okay, good stuff. Chris, good to get you in, and fascinating insights, because I think, anecdotally you hear these things, but you compile all the numbers and you're seeing what we're expecting with, the tents and the looking for bargains. So good stuff. Chris Hitchen from Getprice, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Brooke.
We do check in, I think, once a month with Chris, so very interesting trends and certainly reflecting what's happening in the economy here. The new